If you're not already subscribed to this YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now, along with the bell icon so you can be notified whenever a new video is posted. And if you're already subscribed, check and make sure that YouTube hasn't unsubscribed you. And of course, be sure to give the video a like as well as share it on your social media. The white supremacists hate that. And now, the Sunday Address.
Over the past 5 elections where you've had a Democrat win, they needed the black vote. 91% of African Americans voted for Biden and will continue to vote for Biden if Kamala is his running mate. I would be very careful, President Biden, about getting rid of Kamala Harris because we will not support you.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
My opinion.
No, your opinion is valid and beautiful and all of that. But when was the last time you saw anybody get rid of a vice president?
Nobody does. That's the thing. It's a lot of Washington speculation.
No, you wouldn't support Donald Trump.
If it was Biden and Trump.
If Biden gets rid of Kamala Harris and inserts someone else, he will lose the black vote.
Even if it's another black woman like Val
We're
Demings
not interchangeable.
But regardless,
we're not interchangeable.
And no one's saying you are. You would vote in an election against Donald Trump and Joe Biden and a black woman. You wouldn't vote.
I think that but
I want to know the answer.
I don't want to white-splain, but you might be underestimating the black community voter.
I don't think I am.
Man, talk about a garbage take. See, this is why we don't make a big deal of getting all chummy with black celebrities, or fawning to hear them echo what we say, because this is the kind of stuff that inevitably happens. Sunny Hostin was one of the very few black celebrities who a few years ago actually said the word reparations and even said it to Bernie Sanders that it should be in cash. But you notice she hasn't said a word about it since? And the fact that the white media didn't immediately demonize her and attack her and take her to task, and the fact that nobody felt the need to say she should be fired for that, that makes me think that perhaps this was some form of media theater. And she's not being attacked for her latest statement either. The white media is not saying that Kamala Harris is a drag on the ticket, nor do they cast aspersions on Sunny for what she's saying. That's because her overarching point is that black people will vote Democrat without the Democrats giving us anything. See, that's the other side of what she's saying. If you keep Kamala Harris on the ticket, then you don't have to offer black people anything. And what happens if she gets taken off the ticket? Well, we still don't get anything anyway. Remember, the most sophisticated form of propaganda is when something presents itself as opposition, when in reality it's actually support. But if there was any doubt that she was only giving lip service to reparations, a few weeks back she was singing a different tune. She said that if Biden gets rid of Kamala Harris, he loses the black vote. She didn't just say the black female vote, she said the black vote entirely. So I'm sure that just like me, you've been wondering who appointed her to be the official spokeswoman for all of black America. The white media did. Her asinine remarks served their purposes, so they're not going to call her out on it, and they're certainly not going to be saying that black folks have any problems with what she's saying. Never mind the fact that Kamala Harris couldn't get any black support when she made her own lunk-headed bid for the presidency. Sunny Hostin didn't say that if Biden doesn't publicly pledge to get us reparations, he would lose the black vote. She doesn't say that if Biden doesn't publicly pledge to give us the kind of government money that he's been giving to illegal aliens and to Ukrainians, that he would lose the black vote. No, she doesn't attach her threat to anything tangible or beneficial to us. Instead, she attaches it to whether or not Kamala Harris gets to keep hanging around the White House. And she's got nerve. She doesn't talk about all the broken promises that Biden has made. Even she knows it would be stupid if she were to say, well, Biden needs to make some promises to us. He made plenty of promises back in 2020, and he broke every single one of them. In fact, she doesn't mention what benefits black people are supposed to get from Kamala Harris being Biden's running mate again. What benefits did we get the last time? Now, considering that Kamala infamously said that she wasn't going to support reparations because she wasn't going to do something that would only benefit black people, doesn't that put Kamala totally at odds with the position on reparations that Sunny Hostin expressed? That is, if we were to take Sunny seriously, which most of us didn't. Her little moment with Bernie Sanders only served to clarify where he stood, and that was it. But you would think that if Sunny Hostin had any integrity on the issue, she would be saying, well, I said cash reparations, Kamala Harris said hell no, so gee, I guess that puts her in the same company as Bernie Sanders. We should support her as much as we did him, right? No, she's making this into one of these nonsense things about, well, we gotta take care of her because she's one of us, is she? Really? See, this is political theater. The white media is pushing hard as hell to see if they can get black women back on board. They know that their support among black women has been slipping, and this is the reason why. They're not offering anything. They keep lying and claiming that, well, black voters are really angry about voting rights. That doesn't even make any sense. The reason black people say we're not going to vote for the Democrats next year is because we can't vote. Make that make sense. Black people have always had some Republican pukes and a number of Democrats trying to keep us from the polls. And we have shown time and again that if we really want to get out there and vote, I mean, for real want to, then nobody can stop us. James Carville said what the truth was. He didn't complain that these Republicans and these voter restriction laws, like in Florida and Alabama and Texas, that's the problem. That's what keeping black folks from voting. He didn't say that. He didn't mention the Republicans' voting laws at all. That's because he knows full well, as the rest of the DNC, that the problem isn't the Republicans' voter restriction laws. The problem is our demands for tangibles are not being met. And all these pathetic attempts to try to talk around our interest aren't working. All the white media propaganda claiming that the issue is voting rights or LGBT rights or inflation isn't fooling anyone. It doesn't matter if the economy is doing good or bad. For black people, we're always in a non-stop economic recession. But it's been engineered. Ours is one that has nothing to do with the economic cycle and everything to do with the American racial order. We're not going for that garbage about black faces in high places. That was some nonsense that the baby boomers fell for. We don't care about optics. This is about reality. People who look like us mean nothing when they're not doing anything for us. As black people, we keep overdosing on cope. We can't accept the fact that we're getting nothing for all the support and effort that we put out on behalf of these people, so instead we try to imagine that we had gotten something. We don't want to have to accept that we've been living a lie, and that this is going to require us to make some serious changes. So we prefer to maintain a distasteful lie because we're terrified of facing the terrible truth. The reason that truth is so important to us is because truth reflects reality. And we must live in the real world. You can't live anywhere else. But what happens when the white media uses its influence to elevate and make charlatans and liars prominent, and then let them spew whatever? What we get is this: symbolism over substance. What good has it done black people to have Kamala Harris in the White House? She was part of all those phony promises Biden made, and the only promise that she made to us was that she wasn't going to do anything for us. So how the hell does Sonny Hostin look saying that black people won't vote unless it benefits Kamala personally? It makes her look pretty stupid. As for Sonny, she's part of the white media's cult of celebrity, chasing clout and making sure she gets her picture taken with all the right people. So in the span of only a couple of months, we've seen Ice Cube start palling around with Tucker Carlson, one of the worst anti-black racists in America, and Ice Cube saying that racism really isn't so important, and it was only getting raised as an issue by people who want to divide the society. And now we have this. There's a very good reason that we don't pay these high-profile Negroes any respect, because they can always be counted on to break bad on us, and when they do, the white media won't remind people about their prior stances on the issues. They'll give them a pass. Snoop Dogg was able to reinvent himself by hanging out with Martha Stewart. And the white media uses the little old money it gives these tools as a way to control them. Because it works. Sonny isn't cheerleading for Kamala Harris as much as she's cheerleading for the place of the Negroes who the white media has made prominent. Because if white power can just shove aside the allegedly part-time black vice president, then what hope do these TV Negroes have? Speaking of no hope, the war in Israel has had a phalanx of black politicians tripping over their shoelaces to take sides, in this case to make a show out of being on the side of Israel. The black community is not at all invested in this latest outbreak of violence in the Middle East. Those people have been fighting each other since Moses was in Pampers, and they'll still be slugging it out another 2,000 years from now. That's just the national pastime over there. You actually have some of these Negroes who are saying that the whole issue of Israel is significant to their constituents. Really? Now this is Negroes auditioning for campaign donations, same way Sonny's auditioning too. They live their lives on their knees begging for campaign cash, and their job is to show that they can corral and control you and me. Doesn't matter if they're on a talk show or Capitol Hill. That's how a woman who's only known for being a daytime gossip show panelist can have the nerve to proclaim that if the Democrats do something she doesn't like, then all of black America will be in revolt. And politicians, who their own constituents have no respect for them, and they haven't been relevant in forever, will claim that somehow they're speaking for the black street. Black leaders who are putting on the cape for this latest round of violence in Israel, the black community is not invested in that at all. We're on the other side of the world. We're talking about reparations and punishing anti-black violence. So why are black misleaders spending more time advocating for weapons for Israel and saying nothing about resources and rights for us here in the U.S.? It's because we didn't choose them. White supremacy did. It's not an oversight that they're ignoring us. That's their job. Rashida Tlaib is a Palestinian, and she's flying the flag of her country in front of the congressional office loud and proud. She's not at all concerned about trying to curry anyone's favor. But then again, there happens to be a significant number of Palestinian Americans, just Arab Americans in general, who she can get campaign cash from. So she's not really worried about whether or not AIPAC doesn't give her any money. She already has her finances straight on that score. When you see the sheer numbers of bootlicks and sellouts that we're infested with, who don't speak up for us but claim to speak for us, who the white media tries to present as being our leaders and our spokesmen, it lets you know how great the task there is before us to clear out this bunch of dreck. But it also means we don't have to worry about accidentally taking down any possible friendlies, because there are none. This is a kitchen sink strategy we see the white media employing. They're throwing everything against the wall. They're hoping that black people will see all of this chatter and activity, all this hot air being blown about, and they'll start thinking that maybe instead of withdrawing from the process, well, maybe we have a stake in this somehow. Kamala Harris loses her job as VP. That means that we've lost some of our stock as a people because of her. When the reality is, it's meaningless. They're also hoping other people, if they get carpet bombed with this propaganda, they'll start to think that they might as well keep on voting for nothing because they've been doing it all this time. Well, the black grassroots is not so easily fooled. That's because we stand on our square. If you're not talking about our reparations, if you're not talking about our tangibles, if you're not talking about punishing those who attack us, then you can keep your mouth shut. Voting is pointless unless you've been promised something, and even then the people who make the promise have to deliver on it. Biden was given every chance in the world to make good on his empty campaign promises, but that's the problem. He promised us very little, and Kamala Harris promised us less than that. So Sunny Hostin's just going to have to get used to the idea that her little old stock as being the Negro on The View is going to take a hit. It's just like when Barack Obama was in office. There are a bunch of Negroes who suddenly found themselves getting some work on this or that white television show because, well, we got to have somebody there to represent the black misview, somebody to totally misrepresent black people's interests and positions on this. And as soon as Obama left office, a lot of those Negroes on CNN and MSNBC got their pink slips. No more need for Negro whispers. Kamala Harris gets in there, and now we got Simone Mammy Sanders and a few others. This is make-work jobs for these bootlicks, but it gives us absolutely nothing. And if Kamala being shown the door means that Sunny Hostin also gets put out on her rear, no loss to our world. Besides, the only thing Sunny was offering us was just more talk. Good evening, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors: Imani Metendaji, Starlet Thompson, Earth Angel, Christopher Ellis, and Richard Allen Lovell. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.